What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wealth Not Weight. I'm your host, as always, Joseph Kawisa. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody is having a wonderful and amazing day. Getting right into it today is more of a story. It's going to kind of teach a little bit of a lesson, and we're going to talk about some stuff, but it is primarily a story. A story in particular, oddly enough, about these peanuts. Now, these peanuts are Moon Lodge brand salted peanuts. This has nothing to do with nutrition. They're this bag in particular, and its moldy weirdness that it's getting, about how I got it and its kind of significance to an event that I had, and that kind of taught me something. A while ago, you guys know I went up to visit my friends. This was right around, I believe it was 2 years ago, I think it was now. We had 2 years ago, wow. It was around this time, I think, 2 years ago, we still had the restaurant. I went to go visit my friends up at FSU over in Tallahassee, and because it was around November-ish, around the holidays, plane tickets were extraordinarily expensive. Otherwise, I usually fly. It costs the same amount in gas that it would be to drive up there. Only Gigi, I wouldn't really want to take up to Tallahassee and drive all the way up there, 300 miles there and like 300 miles back. So instead, I said, hey, for like $40, I can get a Greyhound. And that was an interesting experience. Going up there, the $40 Greyhound wasn't bad at all. I want to say like 4 hours about. And getting up there, and it was a little longer than that. I'd say maybe about 5 to 6ish, around there. And it wasn't that bad. I sat there, had couple seats over. I had to get there kind of early, and that was really the only gripe, was I had to be there early. Otherwise, it was a pretty decent experience, just riding on a bus the whole time. The way back, however, was a very interesting experience. Starting with when I was getting checked in and everything, I noticed everybody had bags or suitcases or book bags or something, except for this one kid who was probably about my age, maybe a little bit younger, and he just kind of had this like manila folder. That's all he had, and he wasn't like an official gear. He wasn't like a porter or something or a courier. He was just some kid in a hoodie kind of sitting there with his manila folder, and he looked a little like frightened almost. And when we got onto the bus, he was sitting across the seat next to me. Not directly next to me, but a seat over on the other side of the aisle, and he seemed kind of nervous and upset. And he had asked me, he goes, hey, can I use your phone? And I was like, usually I would say to myself, I'm not going to just let somebody use my phone. But I don't know what possessed me today to let this kid use his phone, but I said, sure. I had like the little safety mode, so I put it so you can't get access to like bank account information or anything. Nothing about this kid in particular that made me not want to trust him, but I just don't want to hand over my phone, my bank account, my personal information to really anybody, let alone somebody I just met on the bus. So we're on the bus. He's not going to go anywhere. He went and we kind of stopped for a little bit, and he was kind of standing off the side, and he made a phone call. And I found he was talking to his dad. And, he was kind of like just being a little like shy with him at first, kind of having a conversation. Hey, how's everything going? And as we got back on the bus, I tried not to listen too intently, but give him his privacy, but it was kind of hard not to overhear it. And he's talking. He goes, hey, listen, I'm coming back to Tampa. I spent some time with this lady. She was up by the church over in Tallahassee. She took me in. She was really nice to me. I know after everything with mom, I walked around for a while. Finally, somebody let me stay with them. And she was nice. We went to religious classes, and then I met this girl, and I got to stay with this girl, but things didn't really end well. And then I was out in the street for a little bit, and now I saved up money, and I want to come home. He goes, if I come home to Tampa, will you love me again? I shit you not, this is what this kid's saying to his father. After talking about what I presume is him going through a hard time and maybe something happening with his mom, and him being homeless for a portion of his life at least, he's asking his father if he comes back, will he love him again? And I just, I'm kind of in shock at this point. Like, I wouldn't think this kid who's probably younger than I am, and at the time I was 19 years old, this kid's maybe 18, looks a lot younger, and he's asking his dad if he could come home and if he'll love him again. And I was kind of taken back by that. I kind of tearing up a little bit. I'm just kind of like, wow, I don't want to get involved. It's whatever this kid has to do is whatever this kid has to do. I don't want to pry into his personal life, but I can't help but hear this. It's on my phone. It's the kid sitting right next to me now at this point. I'm just looking at the window and I'm hearing this, and my kind of heart's breaking. As I'm going home to a family that cares and loves about me, this kid's fighting for survival and asking his father if he'll care about him and take him back into his life again, if they could try to be a normal family, he goes on to say. And from what it sounds like, it sounds promising. He goes, okay, well, when I get there, we'll do all that stuff, and we'll get to hang out. That's great. I know you haven't seen me in a while. And then he goes, okay. He goes, well, and he's like talking to him, and I guess they lost connection. He goes, oh, I lost connection. He said he wanted to picture me, though he hasn't seen me in a while. Is there any way we could text a picture? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, of course. I mean, after hearing all that, there's no way I'm not gonna do that. When I think back to the time I was kind of lost in Tampa for a little bit with my friend during the storm. If you've seen the podcast, I talked a little bit about that. And that was just a small situation. I can't imagine, a child this age and not helping him with something as simple as that, especially after hearing everything that I just heard. So I, sure. So he, took a picture, smiling and happy. He texted over, and Dad said, great, can't wait to see it. And that's when he responded back, and I was very, it's kind of touching. After that, I kind of took my phone off the privacy mode, and I was going back. I was editing videos and doing what I needed to, and then this guy comes over, just white t-shirt and just kind of like fleece shorts. I can't remember the color of them. I want to say gray. Flip-flops, just some dude who looked like he was kind of like lounging around a little bit, leisure wear, nothing too crazy. And he comes over and he goes, hey, he goes, I know you let the kid use your phone. Can I use it real quick? I want to call some of my friends. I'm saying to myself now, I was like, oh, everybody on the bus is going to use my phone. I was kind of like, but after hearing that and understanding that, again, something clicked, like this dude really wanted to talk to somebody. It's not just somebody on the street being like, hey, let me grab your phone and walk over there with it. It's, somebody on the bus who, again, seems like they're in genuine need. And I, again, usually don't hand off my phone to a lot of people just because I care about people, but I don't trust handing thousands of dollars worth of technology and personal information to anybody. This dude now, definitely older than I am, he's like an adult. It's not some kid in help. But something kind of clicked with me, and I said, yeah. He's like, of course. And I put my phone in private mode again, and I handed it over to him. And he's talking, and he called one of his friends. Yeah, man, I just got out. I got my GED. I'm super excited. It was an early release. It was great. Don't tell too many people, though. I don't want to be getting mixed up or anything like that again. But I really want to call you because you're my boy, and he's talking about it. And after he gets off the phone, we started talking, and he goes, yeah, I just got released from prison. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, here we go. He's like, yeah, he goes, I just got my GED, and they early released me. I was like, wow, so, congratulations. He goes, yeah. He goes, man, when I went in, he goes, they didn't have phones, nothing like this. He goes, it was like flip phones. I think he said T-Mobile Sidekick. I think that's the phone that he said he had. He goes, and that's what he had. He goes, his mom hadn't seen him in forever. He goes, and originally he's from Orlando, but they have to take a bus, whatever it is, to Tampa, and then he's going to take it back to Orlando. I guess that's how the transfer worked. And he's saying, he wants to keep clean. He goes, he wouldn't go in. He went in for possession of drugs. It didn't sound like anything crazy the way he explained it, but it is what it is at that point. And they said they emergency released him, and he got to go home because he got his GED. He goes, he studied hard for it, and that was something he got, and that's what he said. Again, I don't know how the whole prison system with that works, but he got his GED, and they said they let him early. So he's talking to a couple guys on the bus, and then he called some of my friends, and he was joking around. Yeah, man, I haven't had real food in forever. Hey, tell this guy that I got out. This is great. He goes, yeah. He goes, well, I'm not heading back over that way. I'm heading home to my mom's. I'm going to start over again. And he's talking about doing photography and stuff. He said he did a little bit of artwork, and he wants to get back into that and maybe do something along those lines. And he really wants to clean up his act. He goes, he really studied math, and he would like to get maybe a desk job or an accountant or something. That's kind of what he was going for. Is he had a strong inkling towards, I think it was photography. Again, this was a little while ago, so I'm trying to think of it. And then I believe it was accounting. It was something very desk job, basically. And that's what he wanted, and that's something that he was interested in. So actually being the finance guy, I was talking to people and whatnot. I had just done, I think it was the Enterprise Village tour not too long ago, or the Enterprise Village chaperone thing. So I was talking about, so I talk about finance and stuff, and he goes, oh wow, he goes, you have to teach those kids about finance? And he goes, I said, yeah, so you get to talk to them a little bit about it. He goes, oh, that's really cool. He goes, well, hey, listen, they give me a bag lunch. He goes, this crusty sandwich. He goes, and all this stuff. He goes, and this pack of peanuts. And he reaches in the bag lunch and hands me this pack of peanuts. And he goes, that's something really important. He goes, I got into drugs, one, because it was a bad area. He goes, I didn't know better. And then two, he goes, I needed money. And he goes, that's the way I thought, that's the way I grew up. You know, you get in the drug business, you make good money. He goes, if I would have known something like I know now, like anything about money or math or anything, he goes, I probably wouldn't have done that. He goes, because I didn't know any better. He goes, so here, you take these peanuts, and he goes, and you talk and you tell these kids about why it's so important to learn about finance and about math and all that other stuff and get an education. He goes, so they don't be slinging dope, on the street. They don't be doing drugs. They don't be selling drugs or anything along those lines. And when I got this, I told everybody, and everybody thought I was a fucking lunatic, and they just throw the bag of peanuts out. And I've had them here for a while, and I wanted to tell the story for a while. And finally, I thought this would be a good time to do it and get around to it. And we started just talking about life in general. He's like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, not a lot of people know the area of Pinellas County. And I said, so I'm from Tampa. He goes, okay. He goes, well, Clearwater Beach? And I was like, okay, of course. I said, of course I know Clearwater Beach. So you're thinking that's like, it's around my area. It's, Pinellas County. I said, that's what I'm a part of. He goes, well, there's this little McDonald's on Clearwater Beach. He goes, I went there with this girl one time, and she had this cool car. She was super rich, and I thought something was going to go somewhere. He goes, but we went to Clearwater Beach. He goes, and I got these cheeseburgers. He goes, it was a McDonald's. He goes, I thought it was just normal McDonald's cheeseburgers. He goes, but they were so good. And if you're ever in Clearwater, I advise you to go over to Clearwater Beach and get cheeseburgers from this McDonald's. It's a completely normal-looking McDonald's. It just happens to be on the beach. But for whatever reason, food there just tastes better. Anytime I go for a long walk on the beach with my friends, with people I care about, if I'm just out and about, a lot of fun memories on the beach involve me going to this McDonald's, probably as a little fat boy, going to this McDonald's and just having this interesting and cool experience, just getting some cheeseburgers or some chicken nuggets, or I think I had one of those fucking McGriddles once, that just was like a chicken McGriddle. I think they were trying it out, and it was delicious. And I had that there, and it was just this, I don't know, there's something about it that it's a fun environment, usually with people I care about, and I just had this strong connection to it, and that's why I would advise people to go to it. And I think he had the same kind of thing, so it's fun kind of sharing that mutual kind of thing, somebody who was just, an upper middle class kid who really didn't get into too much trouble, versus somebody who just came out of prison, and, we're kind of sharing and talking the story, because we have a mutual and common interest. We're like talking about finance and talking about life, and just, it was an interesting kind of thing, seeing somebody else's point of view and somebody else's life story, and if they wish they would have done things different, how things would have ended up, and how their life went, and the enjoyable things of life. And I was talking about my friends. Oh yeah, I have a friend that does that. Oh man, cool. Yeah, me too. I have a friend who does this, and he likes music, and oh yeah, and we're just sitting there having this really great conversation. And this is why I have this bag of peanuts. And I want to talk about that bag of peanuts. And then sure enough, somebody else wanted to use my phone. Everybody, I guess, wanted to use my phone on this bus as it goes, and we're like halfway through, the fucking AC goes out, and they got to open up the hatch, and then we drive back, and like, it's November in Florida, it isn't cold almost at all. So it wasn't horrible, but it was definitely warm. And I'm just like, I'm so fucking ready to get home. Like, I was hungry, I was tired, I wanted to go home and kiss my family. I was so ready, and it made me understand. Especially then hearing this last guy's story. He was texting his girlfriend saying, hey, when I get back, I need to go. We got to get everything. We just got to leave. I got to get there early. I got to do this. And I have to go. It sounded like some form of urgency. Not like a maybe I killed somebody, I got to leave kind of way, But in like I have to go somewhere. Like he needed to pick everything up and just go for whatever reason. And it had this kind of thing, and he was texting her back and forth, and he goes, well, hey, if she texts me back, I know she's at work. He goes, I want to grab her, and we want to go, and I want to get everything, and I want to get there early, and I got to do this, and we're moving, and then he kind of like briefly explained, but not really. So I got the gist that he's leaving Tampa, and he just had to go for whatever reason. And just, after that, and seeing this kid, I ended up buying him a candy bar. He didn't have anything to eat, and it was like a 6-hour trip, so I said, all right, yeah, I'll get you a candy bar. He asked. I said, sure, so I'll get you a candy bar. So he was very happy, and that, made him, very thrilled. I got to talk to him and this guy who just got out of prison, a GED, trying to start a new life. He was saying, yeah, man, when I get back to my mom, she's going to cook everything for me. She's surprised. I just told her I got out today. This was great. She's my one phone call when I left. I gave her a call. She was so excited. She didn't know I was getting out today. And then this guy, we was trying to get his girlfriend, and I guess go somewhere and start whatever fucking new life he had. And this just bus of woes that I was on. And it just, like, I pulled into Tampa. It was just so beautiful. And I'd never seen the city in that kind of light before. And it was at night. I'm like, wow, it's fucking good to be home. And it just kind of put everything in perspective for me. Like, not this big, Like that was the moment, but it definitely, did something. I came from having one of the best weekends ever with my friends to a family that loves me. And I'm so happy and thrilled that I get these opportunities and get to do things like that. When there's people in the world who don't know if their parents are going to love them when they come back. There's people who don't know where their life's going to take them. Or people who have done some things that they're not proud of and want to start anew and just live a happy life. And just seeing that kind of experience, and and I know, I have these on my little setup in my nightstand, and everybody comes over, it's like, they know the story, like, you should just get rid of them. But I like having these here because it reminds me of that story, for whatever reason, for whatever, if anybody feels it's corny or not, it just reminds me that I am so lucky to be who I am at the time I am, and that we're all so lucky in some way, shape, or form to have what we have, because life is a beautiful thing, and it's very tough sometimes on a lot of people. So reflecting on what you have and just being grateful for what you have while you have it. I'm fortunate enough to have a loving family and friends and the ability to go and do things now to be able to do what I love every day. A lot of people don't have that. And that's kind of, I like helping people, and that's part of what I fight for and what I want to help, and one day hopefully, do something about in at least some small way, is help people have something that they're grateful and happy for. So this bag of peanuts kind of reminds me of that, as again they're getting moldy, is that it's important to learn and explore about the world, because you don't know where you'll end up if you don't try and you don't learn new things. It's important to be grateful for your family and the people around you, because there are those out there who don't have that, or family, but you love them. It's grateful to have experiences and the opportunities you have, because in a minute you may need to pick up and leave. It's also important to know that if you're in a great position and you're happy and everything's going great, to help those who need it, especially when they ask you for help and say, hey, listen, I really need an assistance with this. So just from all those stories, from the one from the kid who just wanted to be a happy family, a man who trying to change his life, and someone who's trying to start a new life, and then mine from just enjoying the opportunity and kind of coming to a realization to be happy what you have while you have it. Remember to be grateful for things that you have in life, and to realize that you're very lucky that you have them. If you guys like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you learned anything new in the comments below. Peace.